So, as a lot of people predicted, WWE via TKO Group Holdings, that is, released a number of superstars over this weekend. Some of the more notable names were Shelton Benjamin, Dana Brooke, Dolph Ziggler, and several others. They even released, of course, some NXT talents, as you would expect, some that haven't even made it to television, some that were on television. I'll provide a list down below. But again, like I said, some of the biggest there are Dolph Ziggler, Shelton Benjamin, Dana Brooke, and then recently, Matt Riddle. Now, Matt Riddle's release is a special case because of the fact that, well, in the past year, if you will, he's been getting himself in a lot of trouble. Now, under WWE's rule, he'd still be employed. He'd still be, pretty much involved in ongoing storylines and scenarios. But now that they're owned by TKO Group Holdings, a la Endeavor, and now that Ari Emanuel is the boss, and one of the people he is closely associated with is CEO and president of UFC Dana White. It seems that basically they decided to cut ties with Matt almost immediately. Now, I'm sure that the reason it didn't happen on the day all these other releases occurred is because maybe, this is just me, maybe Triple H and perhaps Vince, if you want to believe that, were trying to talk Ari and maybe Dana into saying, hey, look, let's talk, let us talk to Matt, see what we can work out. But Ari said no. He's too much of a liability. Probably the rest of the board in some of the first meetings voted, yeah, he's too much of a liability. And and they basically said, look, we gotta remove this guy, from from the picture for the time being. Now, is it a shame that Matt and Dolph and Dana and Shelton, all these other people, main roster and NXT Performance Center, is it a shame they lost their jobs? Yes. But I also look at the fact that with some of them, I can almost predict, that they'll be back in some capacity. Now I could be wrong, and some of them could be Impact and AEW bound, if not New Japan bound, by the end of the year, because they have a 90-day contract. And when these releases happened on Thursday, I think, which was the 21st, they have until about 4 days before Christmas, before they can actually negotiate and talk and debut for another promotion. Now, does that mean they can't, let's say, compete independent-wise? No, that doesn't mean that. Basically the non-compete clause means they can't just automatically show up on AEW television or Impact television or New Japan television, just like that. They can't do that. They can't do what John Moxley did. They can't do that. They can't do that. So, they're going to have to wait 90 days to make major appearances, because they didn't let their contracts expire. Edge, this time around right now, his contract is legitimately up. It is expired around as we speak, as far as I know. Unless he did an extension, we don't know yet. But does that mean Edge, Adam Copeland, will show up on Collision tonight? We're not sure. It is in Grand Rapids. It is a big event, and like I said, the timetable would work out perfectly. Chris. Because one of the featured matches is a three-way dance or triple threat for the TNT title, which is involving Darby Allin, Luchasaurus, and Christian Cage. And since Sting is banned from ringside, one would think that opens the door for Edge, Adam Copeland, to show up. And could that happen, seeing as though this is around the time his contract would officially be expired with WWE? We're not sure. If he doesn't show up tonight, then that proves that maybe he either signed an extension or he's just wanting to rest his body a little bit. We'll see. Um, but that's in the next several hours, if you will. Well, as we speak, it's about 5:08 right now, so probably in the next hour or so if you're watching Collision Live right now. But yeah, but getting back to releases, yeah, it's kind of a shame that they lost their jobs. But like I said, I think some of them, unless they decide to go elsewhere, I think some of them are basically going to be back in WWE by next year. You see, the way I look at it is you have all these current semi, you know, semi part-time, semi full-time, whatever talents that are currently on the roster, sharing memories and all that, and kind of expressing that it's kind of sad to see these people that they consider their friends and their comrades losing their jobs. All of a sudden. So what that tells me is with that expression of, sympathy and all that, as well as the memories that they shared, um, I could see basically some of these talents coming back. Like, I would not be surprised, in my honest opinion, if Triple H gets on the phone with them and says, hey, look, we're going to bring you back within 90 days. We're going to bring you back, but we're going to sign you to smaller contracts because of this one thing that this company, that this new TKO Group Holdings is about. It's about saving as much money as we can. So we're going to sign you to deals, but we're going to have you, competing for less money than you did before. I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that happens, within the next, few weeks, if not has already begun happening behind the scenes. Which is why I truly believe, in my opinion, there's a good chance that come Royal Rumble season, we're going to see Dolph Ziggler back. We're going to see Shelton Benjamin back. We're going to see Dana Brooke back. We're going to see these people back, in the company, but just possibly wrestling for less money. That's what I see. That's what I see. But when it comes to Matt Riddle, his situation's a unique one because everybody has said it best. He brought it on himself. Matt brought it on himself with all the incidences and all things that he would be, getting in the news for, mostly negative. So he has no one else but himself to blame. So, the question is where will he land next? Well, he's got until at least December 21st, December 22nd to, be able to compete elsewhere. Like he could compete, on the indies right now in a non-televised capacity. He could do that. That's the one thing about these 90-day non-compete clause, that once you're released, you could still continue wrestling and competing in the ring for indie promotions. You just can't be seen on television. I think that's the catch. I think that's the one silver lining. Like, you could still compete, you just can't be seen on television, or you can't be seen, in any kind of visual way, even on demand streaming, video distribution, DVD, Blu-ray distribution. You can't be seen in any way. Uh, you can't be seen basically in any way, any capacity, in the 90 days that, or within the 90 days after you've been or within that time frame of 90 days of being let go, or even the 30 days that you've been let go of from the company if you're part of NXT. So, so Matt could still go compete for some independent promotions. He just cannot be seen visually until at least the end of the year. Now, some people are saying that they believe AEW will pick him up, but and people that believe that are just Alex of Alex's World. I'm sure others believe it, but there are some, like, let's say JD from NY206, JD of Off the Script, that he feels that Tony Khan will not even touch Matt Riddle. He won't, and that David Zaslav probably will not allow him to do that, because as much as a I guess you could say a coup that would be for Tony Khan to get Matt Riddle, under contract, and you know, get him under contract and perhaps stop promoting, if not hinting at dream matches of Riddle and Omega, Riddle and Sting, Riddle and the one of the Young Bucks, Riddle and Adam Page and stuff. That, as much as people would think that that's what Tony Khan on would do by getting this major coup of a signing, there are some, like Off the Scripts JD and others, that don't think that's going to happen. That because he has too much baggage, and pretty much AEW has gone through AEW already in the past year or so has gone through too much controversy as it is with certain individuals that they've currently have under contract or had under contract, see the CM Punk situations, that he believes that people like JD don't believe Tony Khan would even risk bringing in Matt Riddle unless he cleans up his act. And the same goes for WWE. WWE won't bring him back unless he cleans up his act or he agrees to something, that's going to guarantee he's not going to cause trouble. I mean, I thought about the fact that they could bring Matt, as far as WWE goes, I thought of the fact that they could bring Matt Riddle back into the company on the condition that he has somebody at his side all the time that, basically prevents him from getting in trouble. And they have this person near him, even outside the ring and all that, to keep him out of trouble for at least 180 days at most. And that if he can prove after 180 days, hey, even with this person by his side, that, hey, he could be on his best behavior, then maybe they could consider letting him be on his own once more without somebody watching him. So to me, if WWE wants to bring him back, and they could, I think that'd be one way they do it, by basically having somebody assigned to watch Riddle and what he does to make sure he doesn't get in any trouble. That would be a PR nightmare for, WWE, TKO, Endeavor, and UFC. But with Matt, it's a disappointment because, one thing people do agree upon is he's one of the guys that you can be a fan of, that you can actually respect, that Vince, is a fan of as well. Like, if you, despite how you feel about Vince McMahon, if you could say this one common thing you have in common, if there's one thing you have in common with Vince McMahon, is that he is certain wrestlers you like and want to see pushed, he likes them. He too likes them, like Matt Riddle being one of them. So, so again, we'll have to see where he lands and all that. I think sage advice to him by either his family or whoever he's close with, his kids maybe, sage advice would be, do not do anything just yet. Let things cool down. And then maybe if you get a chance to go back, agree to whatever terms they give you and just go with that. So yeah, again, it's a shame that, Matt Riddle and Shelton and Dana and Dolph and all these other talents, main roster and NXT Performance Center, lost their jobs. But I think they'll be okay. I think some of them, like I said, honestly, will be back in the company before too long. And I think those plans are already in my opinion, are already in motion to, get them to resign at least for another year or so, but for less money. So that way this new company of TKO Group Holdings can really get a financial footing, a footing hole in the wrestling business, along with the already established footing hole in the UFC MMA business. But that's just my opinion. On that. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are on all these releases. Do you think some of them would be back? Do you think some of them might be all elite? Do you think some of them might go and make an impact? Do you think some of them might try some strong style overseas? What are your thoughts on Matt Riddle? What do you think his future has in store for him? Let me know down below in the comments as well as on the live chat during the premiere, and I'll talk to y'all later.